Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So again, big shout out to the guys at SC Models. Ordered this with rest of mini crawlers and it got here extremely quickly. And to what I understand, this one is basically meant to be the same scale, but it looks a lot larger to me. This one is the Axial, and we've got the Capra 4-wheel steer version. It's the 18th scale apparently. It's supposed to be an RTR. So yeah, let's bring in for a close-up look, see what we get with this one. So we got a few bits of specs on this one. Basically it's a full RTR, 2-year warranty with it, Spectrum for the electrics, Proline tyres. We've got a few things that stand out on this. So we got 4-wheel steer. For the price, this is around £270, and it's still brushed, which yeah, I think when you're getting up to this, it should have come brushless. Does run 10 scale servos, which kind of alludes to the size of it. We do get working LEDs, tubular chassis, and it says realistic interior. So it is the UTB18 Capra Unlimited Trail Buggy. So it is like the Traxxas. It's marketed as a trail, not a crawler. So yeah, that might mean it drives a little different. Not that you can't make it into a full crawler if you want to, but let's get it open, see what we get in box. So this is everything you get in box. We'll start off with the transmitter. It does say it uses this as a 3-position channel, so it's to control the rear steer. So you've got one mode. When it's in the center, it's just front steer, and then up is another mode. We've got SR, so I'm guessing that's steering rate, then TH for throttle, ST for steering, so that's going to be your basically your center points for your throttle and your steering. Then if we move on to this side, we got steering reverse, throttle reverse, and then the sort of your throttle limiter. It's on 100, but you've got 50, 75 or 100, 3-position switch. It is quite a plasticky feeling transmitter, but it does have quite a nice wheel. And then battery wise, we've got no option for using LiPo packs or anything, but it is for AA batteries that they do supply, so at least we get them with it. And unlike the HPI transmitter, there's no USB to charge them, so you can't put rechargeable batteries in and charge them from the transmitter anywhere. But yeah, nothing's really adjustable on it. Moving along, we've got the instruction manual, and although this is colour on cover, it's just pretty cheaply printed, and it doesn't actually cover an awful lot in here. It's quite a thick manual, but there's only so many pages that are in English. It does tell you the basics, how to plug in the RC and everything. Doesn't tell you where the power switch is. So at no point in here does it tell you how to turn it on, and then you quickly get into another language. So instruction wise, I'd say pretty poor compared to some other crawlers. Charger wise, we've got a battery with the sort of requires a Spectrum smart charger sort of thing on it. Not a big fan of when companies tie you into using their proprietary batteries and charge system, but you do get this little USB-C charger. It does say plug it into a charger that's a minimum of 1 amp. Let's see if we can get any information out of it. So output 1 to 8.4 volt, 1.5 amp max. So yeah, there's not going to be a dealer point going much above 2 amp charger with it, but it is one of the Spectrum smart chargers. So we should just be able to plug it in, pop it into some USB. I do like that it comes with the USB A to C adapter, so plenty of options for plugging it in and charging it. Curiously, we do get this adapter with it that's not needed for this RC. So it does convert the plug, so you could use it in another RC if you've got that type of plug. I think that one's an EC3. but there's no way to charge it because it hasn't got a regular balance lead. Technically you could mess around cutting wires to try and charge it, but yeah, not really sure why that is in the box with this RC, because it doesn't need it. We do get some nice tools. We do get a sticker, so not a bad Axial sticker. We get a bunch of looks like spare hexers and shock caps, but no mention of it in manual, so that's what they look like. And we do get a thanks for purchasing a smart charger sort of battery welcoming thing. We do get a bit of compliancy bump about the charger and everything. Moving on to the RC itself, quite a lot of travel, but this thing is absolutely huge. I'm not really sure where they think this is an 18th scale. Let's just grab one of the crawlers. So to give you some idea of size, that's the Capra, and that's an FTX that's an 18th scale. So it's more like a 12 scale, and that is a TRX4M. So again, really not sure what it's an 18th scale of, or if the 18 in the name does not mean 18th scale for whatever reason. But yeah, definitely a strange one. The flex in the chassis, quite nice. The way the bonnet opens up, you just push it from underneath and then just pop it up. It just clips onto here. Not sure what design team were thinking, because they've not really cut the bonnet out enough at this side, so it barely opens. Definitely a strange design. It does make it rather difficult to sort of get the battery in, and then you've got to kind of just wiggle it all about and try and get your fingers in. This lead doesn't pull out far enough, but yeah, you can do it. You can get the battery in. As I said, the instructions don't tell you how to turn it on. That's actually a switch right at back here. Quite nice looking wheels. I like the fact they've got these sort of outer bits and then the silver on the inner. The servos, although they are 10th scale, from experience, that amount of slop on the servo is about par for course with Spectrum servos. They certainly like that. I had exactly the same in the low C LMT, and it does mean you're constantly trying to trim the controllers. Certainly one of the first upgrades I'd do, even if you swap these out for some say £29 each 9i mod servos from AliExpress, you'd have a lot better time, and you'd get an upgraded servo arm as well, really cheaply. They are metal outputs, but it kind of looks like it's the slop in. It's either the servo arms or the gears, but they're pretty bad. I wouldn't expect them to last very long either. Looking around it, at least we've got metal links, but they are plastic ends. We've got plastic drive shafts, but it looks like metal ends on them, so that doesn't look too bad. We've got portals, and the tyres do feel quite nice. They are beadlock wheels, so we have got screws in back. The interior looks quite nice for an RTR. Got a few stickers on it. We got a fake fuel cell in back. Does look like we've got bearings in the actual wheels, but yeah, quite like the look of it. So for the transmitter, we've just got 4 AA batteries. I'd much rather see these than the AAA ones. And credit where it's due, they did actually supply the batteries with the RC. It's the first out of all these crawlers that we've actually seen that. So we got a power button, press it in, and that says transmitter on. And if we reach right back, I should be able to switch on the RC, or maybe not. And that's going to be really disappointing if it's been supplied with a totally flat battery. So let's grab the charger. So we do have a USB-C Well, it looks like it's totally flat and it's not pulling any wattage so far. So hopefully this is not a completely dead battery out of box, but we'll get this charging and yeah, see if it can manage to charge up. So moving on, the battery is totally dead. I've tried to charge it, won't charge. Got in touch with SC Models, they did reply straight away. Asked me for a clip at battery not charging. I've sent them that, so I will update you on how we go on with that. But looking around the features of this thing, one thing I have learned is these little hexes are about 7mm, and if I just quickly flip one of the back ones off, the back and front, the ones that are on it, are around 11mm. So if you want to give it a slightly narrower stance, you can swap the hexes over, and they do just pull off once you've got these off. I have got a different battery that I've managed to get so I can power this up. So yeah, if you want to give it a narrower stance on either side, you can just use the supplied tool to take the wheel nut off and swap your X's over and get them a bit narrower. Or if you want to run different wheels, different offset, at least you got some X's. And they are just the standard bottoms at shocks. Not yet found out what that's for, because if you plug it onto battery, you still can't charge the battery on a normal charger because you've got no balance lead on the smart battery. So whether that's to use to power a different RC, not sure, but the stock battery does just plug in. One good fix that I can give you is on mine, both the screws on this was really loose on both servos. So if I back it off, you can see how much slop there is. A good upgrade straight away would be at least a metal servo arm, but you can put these on, and because you've got an actual brass servo horn output, you can tighten up to somewhat get rid of the slop. But if you do get a big bump or you wedge the wheels, these are going to move. Just feels like they've been rammed on. Both front and rear were the same. If you notice, I've tightened this up, so yeah, you can tighten it up to take the slop out. As to how it drives, I have put a different battery in it. As I say, I'm waiting for SC Models to warranty the original battery, but I have got a 2S that fits. And yeah, it drives really nice. It's quite controllable. So we get the 4A batteries that are supplied in the transmitter and just power it on. We have got the little switch at the back, quite easy to get to. These lights are ridiculously bright. They're definitely, if you're going to drive this around at night, no issues. You got a light there, one there, and then these two. These are normal brightness. These are insanely bright. Steering, it's a little slow, but it's not too bad. If you put some weight on it, it still doesn't struggle. So yeah, not bad at all. If we press up on the transmitter, we then get the rear turning the opposite way to give it an insanely tight turning circle. Press it down. There's no beep or anything, and it's not a 3-position switch. So when you tap it, it's kind of, it would be very easy to just tap that as you were driving and accidentally do it, because there's no sort of center beep or anything. But it is really easy to change the driving modes. And yeah, that's not bad. Modulation wise, so if we just start pulling throttle on, try and get it in the same shot. So with it being brushed, it is really smooth. And you've got a pretty decent wheel speed. A stock setup on the speed controller is quite a lot of drag brake. So this is what's confusing me about this and the TRX4M High Trail. They kind of sold as trail trucks rather than crawlers, but yet this is set with 100% drag brake, meaning it'd be really horrible to drive as a trail truck, and it's going to be really hard on the gearbox. It's a weird one. It's not quite geared slow enough to be an out-and-out crawler, as that's the sort of slowest. And it does suffer from one of the issues that I've seen many of the rear wheel steer. You've basically got to play about with the servo arm to try and line the wheels up, else it's going to end up driving like crabbing. And if it takes a good bump, it's then off again, and there's no way of trimming that from the transmitter. So yeah, that's not brilliant. So we do have trim on the steering, and if we put it into one of steering modes, the trim doesn't affect the rear servo. So even though we can trim the front, we can't trim the rear servo at all. So it does mean the only way of lining this up with this transmitter, to what I've found, is with the servo arm. That's not great because there's not adjustable linkage on anything else. We do have adjustable throttle. So if we turn it, you can see if it starts to move, you can tell that the throttle is in the center position, so it shouldn't move. And then we do have steering rate, which we can turn down, so we can start with it really low, and it also affects the rear. So it affects the rear just as much as the front wheels. So it does seem to have reasonable steering. Don't seem to have any issues with that. The transmitter doesn't feel horrible. We've got 50, 75 and 100 for the throttle reverse, servo reverse, and then power. So it's not an issue with any of it. Doesn't really do anything else. Looking around this, its receiver is quite easy to get to. So if you do need to bind it back up, you can get to it. You can also get to plugs, which is quite surprising, but quite welcome for one of these style RCs. The only other way to get into it is to take these 4 screws out, so on both sides, and then you need to disconnect the shocks as well to be able to get the body off. Just be careful because you've got some wiring for the lights and everything. But yeah, I mean, scale wise it looks nice, articulation wise it's quite nice. I think the main thing that's holding it back, I would swap out this rear servo for a short servo, because the design, it actually hits. So I'm not sure if that's a bit of an oversight or just nobody thought. It kind of feels like it were designed for different servos. At the front, it's not really a problem because it goes all the way up into the chassis, but it has got bump stops on the front. Kind of looks like the bump shocks on the rear. Could have done with being slightly bigger, or as I said, a shorter servo because it hits the back at cage. Doesn't seem to affect it too much while driving. Once it's at an angle, it's not going to hit it. It's only if it sort of drops on it. We do have metal links underneath. So as bottom links are metal, top links are plastic. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I think the main thing is with it, a bit disappointing it turned up with a dead battery. After looking on the forums, it does seem like this is a common thing. I saw one other guy, without having to look through too much. First post I came up across, battery issue, and he'd done the same as me, bought a brand new one out box, and the battery was just completely dead. I think it were read 1.3 volt when I checked it with voltage meter, and his were pretty much the same. Apparently it's a known issue and they just swap them. What was surprising is the box had already been opened on this and a brand new battery had been put in it, sealed up. So the battery was completely sealed and it looked like it had already been replaced. So yeah, a little bit disappointing. But yeah, overall, I don't think it's bad. I think it looks really nice. It's nice that you can adjust the sort of wheel width. I think the servo horns are very poor. I would have liked to see a slightly better transmitter with rear steer for £270, just to let us be able to trim the rear steer. But other than that, yeah, it's not the worst. It does surprise me that the two dearest that I've reviewed, or two of the dearest or most expensive, are brushed, which seems a bit poor compared to £140 that's fully brushless. So I think these sort of bigger name companies could learn a lot from FTX. Even HPI does brushless in a crawler, and I don't know where they're getting the 18 from, because it definitely ain't 18th scale. I mean, it'd have to be 18th scale of a huge monster truck, not a rock crawler or a rock bouncer vehicle, because compared to all the others, this one is massive. It's even massive compared to Traxxas, but that does mean it will go over a lot more things. It's a lot easier to drive outdoors. You have got the option of fitting a bigger battery in it, and there is lots and lots of upgrade options for this. Apparently the drive shafts can pop out. I'm not sure if it's the grub screws that come out on these, but I've read quite a lot of people having drive shaft issues, but there's upgraded ones available. And like most of these mini crawler rock bouncer things, you can pretty much upgrade every single part of it. But yeah, not completely horrible. I really wish that the battery weren't dead out at box, but I buy these with my own money and I'd like to show you the real life experience. I mean, if we're looking at it so far, the FTX out the box, first gear didn't work. I had to set the servo arm on that to fix that. The HPI, the tyres are on wrong way round. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but if you look on the HPI, both sets of tyres left and right, one is on back to front, the directional. So one side's backwards. So that'll need sorting out. The TRX4M, the steering was all the way over to one side and you couldn't even get to go straight with trim. I had to set the servo arm on that. So yeah, these RTRs, not brilliant. I mean, the Axial Capra, completely dead battery straight out box, which if this had been somebody's birthday or Christmas present, it'd be pretty gutting that. Especially seem as though these brands try and lock you down to their own batteries. Which, looking at them, CNHL do a pack of 4 batteries to fit this for 20 quid. And Spectrum want £20 each for the battery that turned up dead. The Lossy Mini T, if anybody's seen me video of that also had a dead battery straight out of box. So part of the same brand, all under Horizon Hobbies brand. So it seems to be a common thing with them, whether it's Spectrum that supply batteries that aren't good or Spectrum supplier, something is going wrong, because I can buy Z batteries off Amazon and they work perfect. I've had cheap Chinese cars like the WL Toys where the batteries have turned up and they work perfect. Yet a £270 Axial Capra and it turns up with a dead battery, servo ones that have got that much slop in them it would be undrivable and they're both loose. So yeah, I think somebody at Horizon needs to have a word with all the companies that are under that umbrella and seriously sort the sort of quality control really. They're not cheap RCs and money's hard to come by now. And if you start getting a reputation, I mean, who wants to spend 270 quid and then have to argue out with a retailer just to get your battery changed? I'm not saying anything bad about SC models. They replied straight away. And I will do an update video and tell you what the process will like swapping it. As I do with every RC and any issues I have, I'll let you know the truth, what it will like for me to deal with, just so you can make your own mind up. As I say, at the minute, SC Model's been fantastic for their part, replied straight away, asked for a video, I've sent them that, so we'll have to give them a chance to sort it out, and I guess their hands are tied by whoever is supplying or warrantying the batteries for them in UK. But yeah, not a bad little RC, quite like the suspension on it. I'll have to get some running footage once we get a proper battery in it. The battery I've got in it it's big enough to just turn it on and that, but I don't really want to drive it with it. It's only got thin wires and I don't want it pulling too many amps out at battery and popping battery wires. Won't do any damage to the RC, but it'd kill one of my little batteries and I don't want to do that. But yeah, mainly really nice. Definitely better than any of the others for outdoor or bigger rocks to crawl over them. And the transmitter feels really nice. Nice that we got rear wheel steer, but lacks the tunability of that channel unless there's some weird instruction where you have to press and hold stuff. But really, throttle sort of mid position, we don't need that. That could have easily just been a trim for the rear. It would have made more sense. But doesn't feel like there's a lot of lag or anything, and that's one thing that surprised me with all of these little crawlers. The actual stock transmitters feel fine. But yeah, that's the rather funky looking, insanely bright headlights and very big for an 18th scale Axial Capra 18 in the King Off-Road Racing Shocks sort of livery. But love the look of it. Can't wait to get tuning and modding it. It's definitely going to be one of them that I'm going to play with. But out the box, yeah, good luck with your battery and tighten your servo ones up or buy some better ones. And I think that's up to now. It's the only thing I would say you really could do with doing out box. But yeah, let's wrap this one up. So there we have it, the little Capra 18 from Axial. Yeah, bit disappointing that battery's dead and the servo horns don't seem to fit right, but other than that it don't feel too bad. The instructions definitely not the best. I'd definitely swap that rear servo out for a better one, go for a 25 tooth one and put a 25 tooth arm on it and get a shorty so it doesn't hit. You don't really need that higher KV, and these are pretty weak anyway. And on the front one you've got plenty of room, but I would upgrade it. And other than that, just run it, see what bits break. And as I said, there is a whole load of hop-ups, mods and spares that you can get for these things. But yeah, 270 quid. It is nice for what it is. I always find the Capras a little confused. It's like they don't know if they want to be a rock bouncer or a rock crawler. And this one's not changed my opinion when it turns up with a brushed motor and then 100% drag brake, but it's sold as a trail sort of truck buggy thing. Yeah, they are a cracking platform to mod though. Straight out box, you got 4-wheel steering and you can do brushless conversions, put some decent radio gear in it and change servos. The amount of mods you can do to them is crazy. So you really can make it more trail or more crawler, depending on what you want. But yeah, leave your comments below. Thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Hopefully you find that useful, entertaining, bit of both, just like listening to my incessant ramblings. But don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys in the next one.